This is going so bad.
Battle 2. Engage. Watch your step.
Oh, your boy's doing better. We're doing better.
Marvelous.
We out here. Wait, never mind. Never mind. It's all over. I quit. Golly, this guy gets one hit off and it's like a never-ending combo.
Pathetic. Great. Not quite.
Okay, maybe I need more practice. What's up, everyone? I wanted to take a moment to talk about these two Granblue Fantasy titles. So the first one came out in 2023, December, and this was Granblue Fantasy versus Rising. Now, this was a sequel to a fighting game called Granblue Fantasy Versus, which I only got to play a little bit. But what I did play, I was really impressed. I really dug the visuals. I thought the game was beautiful. And gameplay, of course, Arc Systems, they get busy. Arc just gets busy. So I knew I was going to love it. And then, of course, you know, I am a sucker for JRPGs, and I knew that there was a possibility that I was really going to enjoy this game. And the little that I saw, like, throughout the years, I was very intrigued by it. So while I did label this video as the Granblue Takeover, I feel like these two titles flew under most people's radars. So that's why I wanted to give it some shine now. If you're new here, I talk about anime news, I talk about gaming news. We also do reviews on both, and not to mention, occasionally we cover anime conventions. If that sounds remotely intriguing to you, please consider subscribing. With that out of the way, let's take a look at Granblue Fantasy versus Rising and Granblue Fantasy Relink. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. I am Ryofu, and you are watching The Gaming Harbinger. So if you're not familiar with Granblue Fantasy at all, I felt like it might be necessary for me to give you a little background on it. In 2014, the game Granblue Fantasy was released to mobile platforms. I have never played the mobile game, but they were advertising it aggressively around the time I was visiting Japan. It pretty much plays like a turn-based JRPG. After a few years, it got its own anime. I actually attempted to watch this and I realized it was on Netflix. I want to say around episode 4 or 5, they pulled it from Netflix. So unfortunately, I didn't get to finish season 1. To make matters worse, season 1 is stuck in some weird limbo. Season 1 is only on Funimation and season 2 is on Crunchyroll. But season 1 is one of the few shows that hasn't transitioned to Crunchyroll yet. It's ridiculous. So let's get this out of the way right now. Like, do I feel like if I would have watched the anime or played the mobile game, I would have more backstory? I would be more into the characters? Do I feel like I'm missing out on something? Sometimes ignorance is bliss. So at the present time, I really don't feel like I'm missing out on a whole lot. It doesn't feel like I'm just clueless and lost and can't follow the story. At the end of the day, it feels like typical JRPG fanfare, and by that, that's not an insult by any means, obviously, because I play those type of games, but it does mean that you know, if this looks like the type of game you would like, you're probably gonna like it. I do eventually plan to watch Season 1 whenever I have some downtime. The story of Granblue Fantasy follows the main character, Gran, coming to the aid of Lyria in the midst of her being kidnapped. This happens at a time when Gran and Lyria are complete strangers. Gran is fatally injured in this attack, and Lyria decides to connect her spirit to his in order to save his life. This does work for the most part, but Lyria is eventually captured and taken captive. Since Granblue Fantasy Versus Rising came out first, let's jump to that game. This is actually a sequel to 2020's Granblue Fantasy Versus. I played only a little of the first game, but what I did play was impressive. This sequel tries to build on what was already established and improve upon it. The graphics and animation in this game are incredible. The little particle effects from the weapons to Noelle's emotional meltdowns look outstanding. I really like Hideo Manaba's art style. It's just absolutely beautiful. There is a story mode. The story mode was in the first game as well. It is trying to have its own unique story, which is told like a visual novel. If you are familiar with Arc System Works, then you know what to expect and you will absolutely love this. I think the writing when it comes to these visual novel segments are highly entertaining. Some of it's silly, some of it's serious, some of it's fun. You never know what you're going to get. Wait, there's more. So there's this mode that's called Granblue's Legends. And so I've never played Fall Guys, right? But when I look at it, that's kind of like what it gives me the vibes of. It feels like it's a Fall Guys, but with Granblue characters. And they're like chibi versions of them. Absolutely freaking adorable. And I am just amazed that people are playing this because, you know, this is a smaller title, at least on the West. You know, in Japan, I think it's pretty big, but there are people actually playing this. It takes a little while to load up if you're waiting for a match, but it is very fun. Absolutely hilarious. Absolutely adorable. I had a blast playing it. Look how freaking adorable they look. Come on, man. What is there not to like? What is there not to like? Get off me. Get off me, cuz. Uh-oh. That worked to my advantage. Hell yeah. That worked. I don't even know. But I mean, we all like shrimp, but I don't know what it does. Ow! Oh, crap. Oh, hey, that worked to my advantage. Thank you, whoever did that. Fantastic. We out here. Now I'm being an idiot. Okay, now I know what I'm doing. Hey, I won't hit you if you won't hit me. Okay. You're doing good. Okay, now I'm kind of regret going this way because, yeah, it's taking a while. Maybe not the best choice. Uh-oh, big person in the building! Big person in the building! Oh, never mind. Moment's gone. Yep. Yeah! That's what I'm talking about. Whoop. I just threw my sword. Get off me! Get off me! Stop! We out here! We out here! Feel my face. I don't know what Sun's doing right now, but he needs to get it together. That little dive always cracks me up.
Round set.
As far as the main bread and butter of the game, the actual like fighting game aspect and playing online, I think they did a good job on this. Feels rock solid. There really isn't a lobby, so it reminds me of kind of like Dead or Alive 5. And it has, and I'm sure like by now everyone's incorporated this, but the first time I ever saw this was Dead or Alive 5. And it's the whole like you can be in your training mode, but then you can also wait for a match. I love that mechanic because I can just be in there practicing. Next fight, okay. Now, of course, downfall, yeah, you don't know who you're going up against until, ta-da, the fight's about to happen. And I don't know, I guess a lot of fighting games, they like it that way, so you know, you don't just quit like you see someone, oh shit, can't do that one. Screw that, I'm not in the mood for this. In my case, I'm running into people that have been playing for hours, for days and days and days, and they've been playing this game since last year. And I've just only been playing it sporadically. But regardless, I mean, I'm having a good time with the game. I absolutely enjoy it. Like I said, Arc Systems, they're just really good at making fighting games, so I'm loving it. You know, I should have said this sooner, but I guess it should be obvious at this point. This video is not a review. This is me just trying to sell you on these two games that I think are awesome. I mean, that's really why I wanted to make this video. But I'm still playing through them now, in fact, so who knows? Maybe I'll do an updated video to this. So without further ado, let's take a moment to look at Granblue Fantasy Relink. So I've had my eye on this game for quite some time, and there was a point, like when it finally came out, people were real quick to compare it to Monster Hunter. And there are aspects of that, 100%. So for example, you do have a lot of characters and fighting styles that you can choose from. You have your quests, you have a quest counter, and they try to kind of segment like, okay, here's the story mode, you can keep playing that, keep hitting on the story beats, but we also have these side quests that you can enjoy as well. And obviously there's some sections where you're fighting some really huge bosses, and I mean, these fights are like spectacular, man. They are so epic. Very impressive stuff. And then not only that, but it's like you're playing with 3 other people in your party. So, I mean, it just looks nuts. All these particles and flashes and colors going everywhere. And then the enemy has their own version of that. So let me jump into this real quick. I know this might ruffle some feathers, but of course I reviewed Final Fantasy 16, and I pretty much think the game is very polished. I think it's awesome. But there's also this part of it where I feel like it's so dark, it's so serious, and then when you throw in these shonen aspects to it, it feels a little weird to me. That's a personal thing with me, right? But with this game, oh, this is where it's at, baby. It makes sense because it feels like a shonen anime. So then, you know, all the particles and stuff's flying everywhere, and then all of a sudden you see, oh, Link with this person's attack, got it, bam, you know what I mean? And then stuff's flying everywhere, the enemy topples over, then you just go nuts, and then you do your super attack, and then the camera zooms in on your character, and they're like, hey, I got this, and then the other person behind you is like, okay, me too. And it just, in case you couldn't tell, for some reason, that whole zooming in and doing the super attack, I don't know why I like that. I do like it. I don't know, something's wrong with me. The moment I started switching characters, I was a little disappointed. Some of the main cast just weren't fun to play. But then the game gives out these vouchers, we'll call them vouchers, and they allow you to play as a different character. And then once you have access to this character, you know, they kind of base it on whatever level you're at. And then, you know, you can start playing with this character throughout the story. And let me tell you, like, I found a couple of characters and I was like, oh, this is me in my bag. Okay. I see what it is now. And now I'm like, okay, maybe this is where the Monster Hunter part of it is coming. I'm like, okay, I see where you're going with this. So I'm going to say this, and I know it's going to sound a little weird, but I mean, I think I'm not the only one that said this, but the game is actually easier than a lot of games I play, which is very bizarre. So it is definitely much easier than Monster Hunter, which that is one aspect to why I don't know if I like the comparison of Monster Hunter, because someone could play this and be like, oh, it's like Granblue Fantasy. And then they're like, oh, whew, this is a little rough and a lot more monotonous. You know what I mean? And of course, I'm saying that as a huge Monster Hunter fan. But the point, though, is that it is a lot easier than Monster Hunter. But don't let that fool you. That doesn't mean there isn't fun to be had. That doesn't mean there aren't things for you to do. That doesn't mean that you can't level stuff and have fun doing it, or there isn't even a reason to level, because there is a reason to level. Because trust me, some of those characters I got like at the halfway point, I started playing them and I just said, let's just see if I can survive this quest. And it was a struggle, playing someone that was underpowered and made the fight last way longer than it should have. But so there is punishment for that to a degree. But like I said, in other games, you would just get pulverized. You're not going to be able to play this game and be that under level. One immortal sin I have committed is that I have not played the multiplayer yet. If you are wondering why, I want to figure out what my favorite characters are and go from there. A lot of people have told me that the game shines even more once you get to the in-game content. It's like the main story with side quests might be around 20 hours, but then when you add all the post-game content, now you're spending 100 hours on the game. That's insane. So I really look forward to diving into the multiplayer side of things. I hope people continue to support this game. I don't want to get there at the very end and then everyone's already moved on. But who knows? Maybe I'll do an update video on the multiplayer in the future. I really love this game. Actually, if I were to be honest, there should be like a link move or something like that in Monster Hunter, because I really like that. I don't know why. It's the little things, man. It's the little things. And not only that, like, if I were to keep it real with you guys, like, the last game that I played that gave me this feeling like, oh my God, like, this is just fun. I'm having fun. Like, I'm not saying this game is a masterpiece or it's God tier, but it's like, I am just having fun. And it's as simple as that. And that was RoboCop Rogue City. Like, I was so pleasantly surprised with that game. And it's the same thing here. Pleasantly surprised, just having a ball. Well, I guess Detective Archives Raincoat, but I knew that game was going to be fire. I knew out the gate that was going to be fire because of who made the game. But, I didn't know what Granblue Fantasy. I did not know what RoboCop Rogue City. So that's why those two in particular, yeah, like, those games turning out to be awesome is like, you're like pleasantly surprised. And I'm like, man, I've been playing some good games lately. Ladies and gentlemen, that's all I got for you today. Please let me know where you stand down in the comments. Let me know if I convince you to try either of these two games. If you love 2D fighting games, Granblue Fantasy versus Rising, fire. And you have a couple of distractions you can play as well. The story mode, Granblue's Legends, all fire. And then Granblue Fantasy Relink, absolute fire. You have tons and tons of in-game content to sink your teeth into. But anyways, I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching. We have much more content on the way. I appreciate you guys supporting me, and I will see you next time.
Battle 2. Engage. See, I got your fall. Great. That's the way. No.
Take this.
No. No escape. Great.
May this light set you free.
There it is. Oh, yep. Securing the dub, baby. Securing the dub. And guess what? We out of here. No rematch for you, baby.